Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. You are watching the Firestarter Show, and my name is LaKeesha Hines, and I have the wonderful, the handsome, suave, debonair, my baby daddy, my boo thing, my boyfriend, my husband, Mr. Willie Hines. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for all that. I agree. I agree with you. But always pleasure to be here.
Well, what's most important is that you agree. All right. So we have such a fun, interesting topic for you tonight. Well, I don't know how much fun it is, but it's fun for us to be able to share this with you. The title of our topic tonight is CBT. And those of you who are out there in the special needs community, when you hear CBT, those three letters mean something very specific to you. It means cognitive behavioral therapy. That is what it means to you, cognitive behavioral therapy. And we know that this is a very common type of talk therapy. I was going to say talk of type therapy.
Yeah, I'm a type of therapy.
Of talk therapy that helps you become aware of any negative thinking that you may be experiencing so that you can view challenging situations more clearly and respond to them in a more positive, effective way. Now, what we know is that everybody can't afford therapy. Everybody cannot afford therapy. Or if you can, you're only going to get so many sessions. There's only so far you can go depending on what your insurance is. And many of you don't have insurance at all. So you can't afford to have therapy. So this is what we're going to do for you tonight. Now, we are not replacing CBT, nor are we therapists. However, we do understand the power of positive thinking.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll be talking about tonight.
And we give some tools and techniques to assist to walk alongside that therapist that you may have the opportunity to see.
Absolutely. So instead of CBT, you know, I love my acronyms. Instead of CBT standing for cognitive behavioral therapy, it's actually changing broken thoughts. Changing broken thoughts. And so we're going to take you through some common negative thoughts or broken thoughts, and then we'll break those things down and tell you what you can do about those thoughts. Okay. So please be sure to put your comments in the chat. Please make sure you do that. We love to hear from you. We love to get that feedback from you to know if it's resonating with you, if it makes sense to you, more importantly, has been helpful. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We need you to do that. Tell all your friends, family, co-workers, and colleagues, neighbors, and everybody else about the Firestarter Show. All right. So let's start with broken thought number 1. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Putting off something you need to get done is oftentimes giving you the opposite effect of what you think it's going to do. You think, if I put it off for later, this gives me an opportunity to rest. I get to chill, I get to chillax, and I'll get to it later. But what it actually does many times is
as anxiety, stress, rushing through whatever needs to be done at that later time.
Yes.
One thing I can encourage you to do is, if most times people say, let me put it off till later, it's because they want to relax, as LaKeesha stated. But I would say strategically make time to relax. Put that into your schedule. Put that on your checklist. So it's not doing it later. It's, hey, I have this time designated for me to relax, to me have some downtime, to me have some just activity that doesn't have to use all parts of my brain, and I'm relaxing during this time. So it's not necessarily I'm doing it later. I've chosen to rest at this time during the day and do what I need to do at other parts of the day, but make sure it's done strategically.
Well, we get in trouble when we don't circle back around, right?
When we don't circle back around.
That's when we get in trouble.
That mindless TV or that Netflix is a little longer than what you expected to go.
Yeah. And then that thing that you intended to do now is stacked on top of other things that you need to get done. And now your list gets longer and it grows. And I'm the person with the checklist, right? If I don't check things off my checklist, it causes me stress and anxiety and all of those things. But if I do the P word, which I know we don't like, procrastinate. If I do that, then I lose valuable hours and times throughout the day where I could have gotten things done. And so really, I've done this to myself. I can't even blame anybody else, right? So what we have to do is create structure to our routine. And that's what you're talking about, Willie, is just, planning for the relaxation, planning for the rest. And so one of the things that you can do is what I just mentioned, is creating a checklist. And that's something I try to do. I know you're really good at that, especially when you have a lot of tasks that you have to complete for work. You literally in the morning or the night before,
both.
You create a checklist. So there are things that you are you're intentional about getting done and focused on getting done for that day. And then we want to make sure that whatever goals we're setting for the day or the week or the month or the year or whatever, that they're attainable goals. Because if we set goals that we're incapable of reaching, then that can make us feel discouraged and let down. And then what we'll do is tell ourselves, see, that's why I shouldn't have tried to do that in the first place, because it didn't work. And that's not accurate. So we need to make sure those goals are attainable. You want to write them down and then just go for it.
Just do it.
Just do it like Nike. Just do it. All right. Second broken thought. Any sort of catastrophic thinking, any type of catastrophic thinking. Okay. One bad thing does not always lead to another. That's the catastrophic thought process that can quickly get out of control.
You may have to compartmentalize some things at that point. As stated, one bad thing is isolated. It may not need to bleed into other things or other parts of the day. This is just the one thing that happened. May not have been the desired impact or the desired effect of what you did or had to do, but that's just that one thing. It does not need to lead or bleed into other things for the remainder of the day.
Yeah. So, when we think things are worse than they are, or assume that because one bad thing happened, more bad things will happen, it literally can cause us to be in emotional turmoil, and we can really spiral and get into a dark place. So what we can do is ask ourselves, what are all the possible outcomes, including the positive ones? This particular thing happened. So I'll give an example for our kids. Like, one of our kids absolutely loves math, crazy about math, would do math all day. The other one, not so much. So let's say they failed a test in class. They may tell themselves, this means I'm going to fail the entire class, and then that means I'll never graduate. Then I won't ever get a job, and I'll be living with my parents home for the rest of my life. So do you see how that snowballed into this ruined my life because I did bad on one test? No, the reality is you did bad on this test, and you need to study harder. Maybe this is an area where it's a little bit more complicated for you, and you need to put more time and energy into this particular concept. And that's okay, but it doesn't mean that because this happened, that's going to happen. So think about the possible outcomes, and then what are the possible outcomes? Okay, I failed this test, but I'll do better on the next one. Or maybe I can do extra credit so that this grade doesn't pull down my entire GPA. So it's all about how you choose to think about it. All right. The next broken thought, I'm inadequate. This is a big one. We hear this a lot, especially as special needs parents. We oftentimes are constantly questioning, like, did we do enough? Are we enough? Are we doing a great job? Are we doing the best job we can do? We beat ourselves up a lot of times when things don't necessarily go the way that we planned or intended or would like them to go. But when you have this type of thinking, it can impair your ability to succeed, not only in the workplace, but in your personal relationships as well.
And it's just simple. I am sufficient. Simple as that. I am sufficient. I am not perfect. I am created in God's image. However, I am not God. I am not thee. So I am not perfect, but I am sufficient. I know what I know. I understand that I am not perfect. And there's some things that I don't know, but I'm sufficient. I'm enough. So yes, I am adequate. And I am mature enough to say, you know what? I have some areas of opportunity in these areas right here, but I'm definitely adequate.
So, again, love my acronyms. I'm going to give you an acronym that can help you whenever you're not feeling good enough. And it's YES. Okay, not yes. YES. YASS. And the Y stands for you add value. And you said, I am enough. I'm sufficient.
Yes.
We all have strengths that were put inside of us that we have formed and developed over time. So you add value, and you need to find the value in yourself. The A, allowed. You are allowed to fail. Give yourself permission to fail, because guess what? Give yourself permission to not be perfect. Absolutely. So you're allowed to fail. And when you fall, get back up. Like, we're going to fall, and that's a part of life, right? But the most important thing is that you get back up. S, see success. Reframe your mindset. See yourself being successful. And then the last S is surge forward. Take a leap of faith, because if you don't ask, you do not get. So take a leap of faith. I'm good with that. I have to pull him along sometimes, but you do have to surge forward and take a leap of faith. So yes to you. Yes to you. All right. Next broken thought. Self-care is selfish. Oh my gosh.
That's your thing.
Oh,
you gotta take care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta take care of self first. So if you have ever been in a support group with us, if you have ever been in a group coaching session with me, you've been in a anything around me where we're talking about self-care, you're going to hear me talk about what happens when you are sitting on an airplane and the steward or stewardess is giving those instructions about what should happen. Should there be turbulence or cabin pressure changes or the oxygen level changes? There are going to be these masks that fall down out of the ceiling, and you are to put on your own oxygen mask before you assist someone else. Why? Because if you pass out, you're not going to be able to help anybody else anyway. So now you both are knocked out for no reason. Mm-hmm. So you have got to take care of yourself, because if you keep trying to pour from an empty cup, nothing is going to get done. Nothing will be accomplished. Then that can lead to bitterness, resentment, and frustration, and all of those things, because you're never getting refilled, rejuvenated, replenished. So you have to exercise self-care.
I'll say this from a professional side, that investing in yourself is definitely important as well. A lot of companies have funds allocated for certifications, going back to school, things of that nature. It's not selfish for you to take that time or take those resources and invest in yourself. That way you make yourself more marketable. Opportunities for advancement may come along as well. So invest in yourself. It is very important. All parties benefit. You benefit, your loved ones benefit, your business benefits from investing in yourself.
Absolutely. And, we often feel guilty, especially special needs parents. We feel guilty about putting our own needs ahead of what our kids need. But that can actually end up backfiring, because you're going to get burnt out. And that's what we hear about special needs parents all the time. They're burnt out. So then you won't have the energy to spend on the people who you care about. Yep. So when you take care of yourself, this is what you need to do. Take care of yourself. Look at it as an investment that you benefit from, but also your loved ones, your colleagues, neighbors, community, everyone you come in contact with will benefit when you're able to have that self-care that you need. All right. Broken thought number, where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Broken thought number 5. Their life is so much better than mine. What are we talking about? Comparing our lives to other people's lives. We will fail every time.
Every time. Every single time.
Because what you see when you look at somebody else's life literally is only the outer shell of what might be happening within. People put out what they want others to see. We are so adamant about not getting into social media. I'm there because I have to be for business purposes, but this guy right here could care less about social media. And we found that there have been couples, literally, they will film themselves on vacations, put pictures of the family, and they're posting all these things where they're happy, smiling, looking good. And the minute they're off camera, the husband goes this way, the wife goes that way, the kids are in their room, nobody's talking, nobody's interacting, and let's not even talk about intimacy. There is no intimacy, and we're doing it all for the gram, right? And it's a false sense of reality.
Yep.
So what can we do? We can focus on what we value and what's positive in our own lives. We don't have time to be worrying about what somebody else has going on and what they're doing.
Yeah. And even if you have that thought, you don't know what they had to go through or what they had to sacrifice for them to be comfortable with themselves at that point, to be enjoying life. So
That's true.
I really encourage you to, again, we just talk about investing in yourself, but don't look on the outside. Make sure you take care of yourself and be happy with, not content, just be happy with where you are, because you're doing a lot better than what you think you are.
And let's be clear, there are some people who are on social media that look happy that really are happy. That's the truth. But I don't want to spend my time and energy trying to have what you have, be who you are. I want to be who God called me to be. And I want to have what God desires for me to have. Because to your point, we don't know what those folks had to go through to get to where they are, or sacrifice or whatever, right? So we want to focus on what is for us. All right. Broken thought number 6. I'll be happy when ... Tying your happiness to an achievement in the future is a dangerous game to play.
Yes. And I'll speak from experience. I'll be happy when I make X amount of dollars a year. Didn't change anything. Things maybe even got a little worse at that point. So definitely highly encourage you not to tie I'll be happy when to anything. Anything.
Yeah, you want to change your thinking pattern. So you're not always willing your circumstances to change. You know, some of the things we talked about. I'll be happy when I lose X amount of pounds. I'll be happy when I get a promotion. I'll be happy when I make more money, whatever the case may be. But instead of thinking about what you imagine will be different when you lose weight or when you get the promotion or whatever, you need to be thinking about how I can cultivate certain things right now. Can I change the way that I eat to ultimately get me to that goal of losing the amount of weight that I want to lose? And can I be content on my job right now in the position that I'm in? And if should a promotion come, then great. But if not, I'm still going to be content with where I'm at and what I have. How can I make the best of my current situation?
All right. And I happy, just like it's I'll be happy when. Are you going to be sad when as well? You can't take one without the other, because that happiness is a result of what's happening around you. So try to stick for that, or aim for that feeling of joy. And then there's going to be some up and downs with under that umbrella of joy. Yeah. So maybe discouraged at times, but experience and try to attain ultimate joy.
Absolutely. Oh boy, I shouldn't feel this way. Oh my God. Judgment, straight judgment. Judging ourselves for our emotions is like judging ourselves for our body temperature. It's not in our control. We cannot judge ourselves or judge how we feel.
Or choose our feelings.
Oh my goodness. If we could choose our feelings, why wouldn't everybody just be walking around happy and content and satisfied all the time? Right? So feelings are important. Feelings are necessary. God put them inside of us. We feel pain for a reason. We feel pain because that's the body's way of letting us know that there's a problem, that something's wrong. So feelings are not bad. It's a barometer for what's going on inside of us. So what can we do?
Let them happen.
Let them happen. You can't stop it anyway.
Let it happen.
We feel a lot better if we just let them happen. Let them happen. You have to allow what's inside of you to come up so it can come out. Because if you don't, if you suppress it, if you repress it, basically what you're saying is, I want to continue feeling this way that I'm feeling. So feel the feels, okay? Feel the feels, and then change your mindset. Change how you look at it, how you think about it. Don't judge it. It just is what it is. And if you're not content with how you feel, then be intentional about changing what you need to change. All right. Number 8. This kind of thing always happens to me.
Negative
you know what I'm thinking of, who I'm thinking of. Do you remember Eeyore? Eeyore was the donkey from Winnie the Pooh. Yep. And he always walked around saying, thanks for noticing me. It's just like, that's what popped up in my head when I saw this, because it's just this woe is me mentality, and just always thinking like, if something unfair is going to happen, it's going to happen to me.
Always the victim.
Always the victim. And, you know, this type of thinking has to be removed from all of us, because, again, it puts us in this position of being a victim of unfair circumstances, which really reinforces a negative attitude about how the world treats us. And we can't control other people, other things, circumstances, and situations. We just can't. So what we can do is stop ourselves mid-thought and substitute positive thoughts and move on. Now, one of the things that you like to do, you can share.
Silver lining, humor. There. I am a firm believer there are silver linings in many scenarios. So find the humor in it. Don't take yourself too seriously and move on.
Yeah, that used to really annoy me. That used to get on my reserve nerve.
Yes, it did.
Early on in our marriage, it really did used to frustrate me because I wanted to sit in my victimhood.
And wanted me to sit in it too.
Yes, I wanted you to be mad with me. I wanted you to have that same mindset and same mentality. But the reality is you were pulling me out of a dark place. You weren't allowing me to sit in whatever I was feeling, whatever emotions were in that moment. And you wouldn't allow me to stay in that woe is me type of energy, because it is draining and nothing good comes out of that. It wasn't serving me well. It didn't make me pleasant to be around or to experience. And so that needed to shift. So I thank you for that.
Oh, you are.
And I love the fact that you do have that mindset, because there are times where maybe, I was down, you would help lift me up. And I do appreciate that. All right. So broken thought number 9. I wish I looked more like fill in the blank.
Or whomever.
Fill in the blank. Maybe you're looking at a magazine cover. Maybe you're looking at a reality show. You're on social media or whatever, wishing that your body looked dramatically different is actually a way to procrastinate living our best lives, because we're always focused on trying to change that we can't appreciate where we are presently.
Yeah. I'll say I have this phrase that I use that LaKeesha hates.
Oh my God.
But it's how I feel. It's how I feel. And I've never, just had never really had the feelings of needing to look a certain way or be a certain way. Never been an individual throughout my life, especially physically. It's like, I am who I am. You like it or you hate it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter to me.
All right. So what can we do? We can acknowledge the thought, right? Because it's human nature to be hard on our physical appearance. I mean, we're looking at each other, ourselves. We're looking at each other, but we're looking at ourselves every single day. We got to live with us. We got to dress us, undress us, bathe us, all those things. So we see ourselves all the time. And so what you want to do is acknowledge that thought and say, thank you, but I'm choosing to think about this differently this year. Yeah. If you walk by the mirror and you see something that used to be in one position and it's in a different position, you say, I'm thankful that I still have that thing that's in a different position, because guess what? You don't have to have the thing that you have. And I'll tell you specifically, because I know a lot of our viewers are women, and I'll be honest and transparent with you. One of the issues that I had was with my breast, the size of my breast, because the majority of the women on my mom's side, they don't have this size. They're bigger. And for many, many years, I struggled with the size of my breast, not being satisfied with them. And then coming into the awareness of the fact that there's so many women who right now do not have breasts because they've had breast cancer and they've had to have their breasts removed, or they're having an appreciation for them in the sense that I was able to nurse all 4 of my children with these breasts, regardless of the size of them. They provided nourishment for my children. So shifting that mindset and being thankful for what they were able to do can really help you grow an appreciation for the thing that you may not be so pleased looking at in the mirror. All right. Broken thought number 10. I should have ... Again, fill in the blank.
I'll say it like this. Most decisions that are made, we can go back a year, yesterday, a month, a year, 10 years, 20 years ago and say, I should have done this. I should have done that. More than not, we've made the best decision with the resources, and the maturity and the information that we had at that particular time. We made the best decision we could with all things taken into consideration. So be content with that.
Yeah.
And you know what? You say, I can do this better. I can do this differently next time. I wouldn't make that same decision today. Yeah. So I should have. Yeah, I could have, but I didn't have the maturity to do so.
Yeah.
I hadn't had
Facts.
life experiences to do so.
Facts.
So it creates toxicity that more than any other phrase I should have.
Yeah. And when we say I should have, it oftentimes is indicative that there's some form of disappointment. You're thinking about a missed opportunity, or it's the unhealthy comparison between an ideal and reality. And so you're constantly looking backwards, constantly looking in the rear view mirror. And what happens if we're driving and we're looking in the rear view mirror? We're going to crash. We're going to cause an accident. So we have to keep moving forward, remove these ought statements because they're toxic and they really destroy our self-confidence and our self-esteem. And what we need to do is do what you can.
Let it go.
And let it go.
Let it go.
Do what you can and let the rest go. Okay. All right. Number 11. I'm such an idiot.
I've said this a time or 3.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is a self-deprecating thought. And again, that destroys your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-confidence. And over time, you keep having these self-deprecating thoughts, you become your biggest critic.
Yep.
You stop taking action. You start making excuses when people talk to you the same way you speak to yourself. You stop sharing. You start to live life like you're not enough.
Right.
So what do?
Replace it just being more supportive of yourself. Everything. Sometimes you make a mistake, then do something the best way. Make a list of 3 things that you do well and that you love about yourself.
Yes.
In those times. If you really think hard of it, you are an awesome person.
Yeah.
Awesome person, awesome colleague, awesome friend, awesome mother, awesome father.
Yeah.
So every time those thoughts come up, replace it with more positive ones because they're there.
Absolutely. And so what you said was to make a list of 3 things that you do really, really well and 3 things that you love about yourself. So now you have 6 positive things. So when you have that self-deprecating thought, you replace it with one of those positive 6 things that you have on your list. And if you can come up with more, do that.
Yeah.
If the more self-deprecating thoughts you have, the more positive thoughts you need to have about yourself so that you can replace those negative ones with positive ones. All right. Number 12, I'll try. Using the word try gives us a safety net to fail.
Yeah.
And it doesn't communicate full commitment to ourselves, other people, or what it is that we say we need to do. Our thoughts have power. Our words have power. And those words and thoughts affect our actions and our energy when we're trying to complete a task or when we're approached with something challenging.
Yeah. And this is a big thing to encourage children as well.
Yes.
Remove that thought process. I'll try.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Whatever that is, I just want your best.
Yes.
Or have that confidence that I could do it. I can make it happen. I could do it. And if they fall short, you say, hey, we didn't get it on that time. And it offers opportunity for encouragement at those times. So I'll try gives that. Well, maybe it's soft thought.
Yeah.
Soft thought. We need something more concrete.
I will do it. I can do this and I will do my best.
Yes.
All right. Number 13. If it's not perfect, it's not worth doing. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's me. That's me. That's me. If I only do things that I think I can do perfectly, I'll never get anything done. And so this type of thinking is so harmful because it eliminates the learning phase of a new role or skill. And I deny myself an opportunity to learn and grow. So if I'm waiting for it to be perfect, again, nothing will ever happen. So what we have to do, first of all, recognize that this is a toxic thought and replace it again with new healthy thoughts. Everything is about shifting your mindset, right? So instead of saying, I needed to be perfect before I move, we need to be saying everything I put a good effort into changes my brain. Everything I put a good effort into will result in learning to do something better and better. And everything worth doing requires the freedom to fail, and flounder and figure our way out. Like just work my way through it and like on the job training, right?
I'll say this as well. If you have the mindset that I won't do things or I need to do things perfectly, that's going to be the expectations you have for those around you and your spouse. Nobody's
That's
perfect.
good.
We're not going to always do things perfect. It's going to cause some tension with those colleagues, friends, people in the environment, or your spouse that's around you. So if you have that feeling that you have to do things perfect, you can also have those expectations that others do things perfect as well. And with us and our religion, you know, we understand nobody's perfect. So
Yes.
now we put ourselves in unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
That impacts the relationship.
And we never want to do that
Right.
to ourselves or anybody else. Last one, I don't know how. I don't know how. When you're focused on trying to know steps 1 through 50, you get so far ahead of yourself, and this keeps you from making progress at all. So the secret to getting started on a task that seems impossible is to focus on what you do know how to do at the moment. And then you take things one step at a time, and then you learn as you go.
Yep.
So if you feel stuck, try telling yourself, I'll figure out the next step, and then take it.
Tap into your resources.
Tap into your resources. Take that one and go from there, and you'll figure it out as you go. Giving ourselves grace. That's what this is all about, is giving ourselves grace, not allowing ourselves to get caught up and stuck up in these broken thoughts, these negative emotions and feelings, and making excuses for them so we stay in them. It's all about, again, shifting your mindset and your mentality and being kind and loving and caring and compassionate towards yourself, which in turn will help you do that exact same thing for others. Indeed. So I want to say thank you. We want to say thank you to each and every one of you for watching. We appreciate you for tuning in. Remember, if you are in need of coaching services for your relationship individually, you're trying to figure out how to navigate this whole special needs parenting world, please schedule a H.E.A.T call today. You can call or text 727-213-8247. 727-213-8247. And also, you can always visit our website, Support for Caregivers, and schedule a spotted call if you are in need of resources or support, and you're a caregiver and you just need some help, again, navigating this whole special needs world. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in. We appreciate you. Yes. And same time, same place next week. Make sure you have your face in the place. Don't meet me here. Beat me here. All right.
Take care.
Good night, everybody.